Thank you for tuning in to this week's episode of Binge or Bail, the podcast where we look at the first episode, the pilot episode of TV shows, and decide if we're in or out to watch the rest of the thing. We are finishing up our first 5 episodes that were brought to us by one of our hosts, her favorite anime of all time. Anyway, my name is Seth, and I'm joined by my wife, Kayla.
Hello. Hey.
And my brother, William.
Hey.
And my sister-in-law, who has chosen these shows so far, Lorna.
Hello.
Today we're talking about a TV show called SHIROBAKO. Good luck finding it to watch, but we did find it eventually, legally. We did our best to make sure to do that, and we did.
It's on VRV.
Verve. And so, but we found it there, and we used a free trial. And you can do the same thing. But anyway, so this is, an anime. We're going through Lorna's top 5 favorite anime of all time. And I think if I remember right, last week we talked and you said that this was, in fact, your favorite anime. I can't remember if we said if it was your favorite show, too, or if it didn't quite. It did.
Yes.
Okay. So the high stakes on this one, on whether or not people are going to binge or bail, but we're going to get into it. Lorna, why don't you start us off by telling us what this show is about?
So SHIROBAKO is kind of like a homage to anime in general, and it's an anime about making anime. It follows a group of girls who have an animation club in high school, and their dream is to all work in the animation industry in some capacity. One wants to be a voice actor, one wants to be an artist, one wants to be a colorist, one wants to be like a production assistant or a production director, and they all set off into the world, and you see them in high school creating their own anime that they show at their school festival, and then the show starts 2.5 years after they are out of high school. Some of them are in the anime industry, and some of them are still trying to make it into the industry. But the show largely follows a girl named Aoi, who is a production assistant at a company. And it shows the highs and lows of making anime. It shows all the work that goes into making anime, all the pieces that have to fit together, all the different moving parts, how they have to sync up, and how stressful it can be sometimes if one part, doesn't meet a deadline, or it falls out of place, or someone forgets something, then it can really mess everything up. So it shows kind of like her struggles and triumphs as a career choice in the anime industry. And I particularly appreciate the show because she's an adult. And so there's a lot of aspects of the show that as like a working adult you can really relate to, especially with deadlines and working with other people and giving grace when other people mess up or when you mess up. And yeah, so SHIROBAKO actually means these little white VHS tapes that animators used to get to preview the episode. Those were called SHIROBAKOs, but they obviously do it digitally now because VHS is kind of obsolete. But that's what the show's named after, is the white VHS tapes people used to get that had the episodes on them that people could watch when the show was done. So that is SHIROBAKO. It's made by PA Works, who's a really good production company.
What other shows have they made?
Oh, I honestly can't remember off the
Sorry
top
to
of my
put you
head.
on the spot.
Yeah, jeez. I can't remember off the top of my head. SHIROBAKO is one of their top shows for sure that they've made. There's 2 seasons of it. Each season is 24 episodes long. No, I'm sorry. Each season is 12 episodes long, I believe. And they also made a movie, but it has only been released in Japan. It was released in February of this year, and they haven't had a US date yet, so... One of the drawbacks being an anime fan or fans of media in general that's international is things will come out in other countries, but you have to wait in the US to get it or watch it and such. So,
yeah. Cool. All right. So, Lorna, let's just start with you because I think William had the right idea last week. Getting people's opinions right off the bat because I think it leads to better talk. People don't have to hide.
Not talking about the Munsters or Grey's Anatomy.
Munsters was... I'm going to let you know, Munsters, listening back, one of my favorite parts of the last episode. Especially when R.I.P. Grandpa Munster. So anyway, so Lorna, you brought this show. We just said that's your favorite TV show of all time. So,
Not of all time, one of all time.
Wait, what?
No,
I thought we said that
I
was.
can't rank anime. I said like Attack on Titan, Haikyuu, and SHIROBAKO were some of my favorite TV shows of all time.
All right. One of your favorite shows of all time.
I have many favorites.
Okay. So anyway, Lorna, would you binge or bail on this show?
I'll binge it, of course.
So we literally just got done watching it. We all watched it together. In just watching the first episode right now, do you want to like continue to like binge it at this moment? Like you want to watch the next episode?
Yes. They do a really good job of like. So okay, the premise of the anime sounds kind of boring. Like an anime about making anime. It's
I feel like you can make any TV show sound boring, really,
right.
if you like boil it down. Like, because you think about, like, if you just talk about like people really like The Office, right? There are some people who really like The Office, but it's just like it's about some people who are working in an office, and that's literally like half of the shows on TV. Also,
it sells paper.
They sell paper.
And there's an egotistical boss.
No, but see, now you're getting too exciting.
But yeah.
Dude, you could turn people off of The Office by saying that it's a show about people working in office trying to make jokes all day. Because everyone knows those people in the workplace that try to make jokes all day.
That's why I think that's why so many people like The Office, is because some of those things do happen in a real office, and it's very relatable.
I think
that people get fired for doing a lot of that stuff.
I think it's nice. I think one thing about watching The Office,
I don't know. Some people, it's like, how do you still have a job? Why are you still here?
They're friendly. They're good intentions.
Oh, gosh, I guess. I'm sure people have thought that about me before. So, yeah, no, I would binge the show absolutely. I think again, it's very relatable. But I think too, I kept hearing about this show, and I was like, what's the deal with this show? Like, I read the description, and I was like, this doesn't sound like. This sounds kind of boring to me, and I kind of judged the book by its cover. But then someone who I really admire in the anime industry was like, if you appreciate anime, you have to watch through SHIROBAKO at least once, because it will make you appreciate all the more. And he's someone who's like an advocate for animators in Japan in general, because a lot of them are very severely underpaid. Like, they're literally paid like, well, in US translation, like pennies per hour when it comes down to it. And a lot of them have to work like other jobs to afford their housing and stuff. It's gotten so bad that some people have created GoFundMes and Kickstarters for animators at these companies to like make a living wage. So that way they don't have to like work other jobs, and they can just focus on making anime. Because people literally will die from exhaustion in the anime industry. As it shows at the end of the first episode of SHIROBAKO, she opens the door to give her the other slides and check on her, and she's like, the animator's passed out on the floor, and it's like a really unhealthy like industry. There's a lot of animation companies though, especially some of the bigger ones, that are starting to move towards like more healthy workplaces. And over there, like here in America, that's like pretty commonplace, I guess. Like, we have HR standards and such. Over there, it's like progressive. Like, wow, you only work a 60-hour work week instead of a 100-hour work week. That's so how progressive of this company and stuff.
It probably does bleed over into like film and stuff, but I have heard a lot of stories about video game industry. Crunch. They call it crunch times. Crunch. And they just like ruin people.
Yeah, it's like they try to justify it, like being like, you gotta do it, it just makes the game good and stuff. Right. It's like, nah.
Right. Well, and it's interesting too, like the burnout rate of animators or people in the animation industry, it's all young people, because they burn out after like 3-4 years. You hardly ever see, like in the first episode of SHIROBAKO, there's the one old guy who's like in his 60s or whatever.
He's just like hanging out doing his own thing. He doesn't care.
It's like he's the token, like, wow, he's someone who made it. Like, he's actually stuck around and stuff. So anyways, I also think, I haven't confirmed this, but I think the guy who is the leader of the studio, the old guy with the glasses, who's cooking for everyone, I think that's an homage to Hayao Miyazaki of Studio Ghibli, because he's notorious for like making everyone food all the time to like encourage them and make sure they're fed and stuff. So I don't know, there's just a lot of cool things they do like that are like kind of paying respects to anime as an industry overall. But yeah, I like this show.
Nice.
And I think that... Oh, go ahead, Kayla.
I was just gonna say, ask who your favorite character was.
Oh, definitely Aoi, the main character. She's so relatable, and just like her heart and hustle, and how she's like always willing to just help people, and she really just wants to do a good job, and she truly like loves what she's doing. Like, I can definitely relate to that. So
I was gonna say, I think from the outside, one reason why the show is so important to you, I mean, you love the medium of anime, but then it's a show about an assistant, which is what you do as your job. And so I feel like you relate even more to it. And so I feel like that's probably a big factor as to why you like it so much.
Yep.
Yeah, just like I like what I remember of the barely existent sitcom Soul Man starring Dan Aykroyd.
Yeah, when his kid falls in that construction hole.
Did that happen in an episode?
And the angel saves him.
Does that happen in an episode of Soul Man? The only episode of Soul Man that I remember is where they're the two older brothers are playing a trick on the younger brother of telling the story of John the Baptist getting beheaded and stuff, and they like scare him a bunch, and then the little brother and the dad play a trick on them at the end where like the kid's like in the table with his head poking through, you know, that trick, and they pull it off and scare the big brothers. That's the only thing I remember. That and the fact that it's just Soul Man is the theme song, and it's Dan Aykroyd.
Dan Aykroyd riding like a chopper, like
to
the song.
Anyway, sorry, Lord.
It's okay. This is a very interesting.
What in the world? Why do you relate to that?
Because he's Soul Man. Oh, because he's a preacher.
Oh.
And his wife's dead, so that's why I didn't.
Part. I'm like, I don't know. What
well,
I
mean,
talking
like,
about.
All I heard was like a kid falling into a construction.
I feel like you could have connected the dots because we talked about Lana's, but yeah, that's fair.
I didn't because I was like, is he talking about because you're an older brother and you used to pick on your little brother? Like,
no,
that's
no, because
the kid falls into the hole, and then someone like dressed as a construction worker saves him, but then like that person's like not really there.
They're like, that guy has helped me, Fred, and like Fred, he hasn't worked in the construction site since 32.
It's been like 23 years since I've seen that show.
All I know is that like all good sitcoms, the wife is dead, and
oh gosh, what?
Wow, why do you relate to this show?
It's just a fantasy.
Yikes.
Plenty of sitcoms where the moms are still alive.
Name one. Name one sitcom. Don't name one. Kayla, name one sitcom where the wife
literally
is
any.
Well, it's like Family Matters.
Okay, yeah, she's yeah. I was hoping you could
after the first season, right?
I don't know if it's the first season, but they did.
Prince of Bel-Air.
Fresh Prince and Family Matters both pulled that where they switched the moms out. Fresh Prince is I guess his mom's alive too.
Yeah, she's in the mom.
See, Full House, one mom is dead, but there are other moms in that show.
Not for a while.
It's true.
Not till Aunt Becky has kids and then pays for them to get into college. Zing.
Yikes.
Step by Step has a dead mom because it's two families coming together. So that could.
Mom was
or maybe they're just divorced. They could be divorced, but they never show up. I always like in those kind of shows. It's always like you got to kill the other one because you don't want the drama of like the other parent coming in.
Sean's mom is dead, right? Or is she just separated?
That's another good question. I just assume they're
Growing Pains.
Growing Pains is a good example of both parents being alive. Yes.
And Boy Meets World.
Yes.
Let me keep going.
Home Improvement.
Like what shows are you talking about? Don't have moms.
I was just thinking about Full House.
Yeah.
I was only thinking about one other show.
What's he talking?
Oh no, there are other shows but
Soul Man.
Yeah, Soul Man. The two best sitcoms ever. God. I'm glad that you remember a different part of Soul Man that I remember, so I could experience it again.
That could be a completely fabricated episode of Soul Man.
You're melding it.
The episode of Soul Man you remember is the construction worker that saved you out of the hole. It doesn't actually exist.
Oh shoot!
It's super meta.
Are you sure you're not thinking of Parks and Rec?
Yes.
There's a big pit in Parks and Rec.
There is a big pit.
Because Andy just falls into the pit and gets his leg broken.
Breaks his leg.
There's no construction worker to pull him out.
Lordy. But anyways.
What about you, Kayla? How about you on this show? You binge or bail on SHIROBAKO? Did I say it right?
Yeah,
Yes.
you said it right.
Nailed it.
I thought it was pretty fun. Like, I was like, let's watch the next episode. So, but I was like trying to like get everything sorted in my brain. It was really it was going kind of fast.
Oh yeah, we do have to
So
say.
I think I need to like rewatch the first episode because I was like,
Yeah.
I think I'm missing things.
They introduced a lot of characters
Bam,
in the
bam, bam,
first
bam,
one.
bam, bam, bam.
And we did watch the sub instead of the dub,
The dub.
which
Yeah.
I'm not used to at all, and
Right.
was struggling.
Yeah.
But I also like have to take in everything. So the part when they're like showing the people's
Titles and
titles and stuff, like I was getting a little frustrated because I'm like listening to it. I was reading what she was saying, but then I was like trying to get their titles
names.
because I just do better with like reading people's names and stuff to understand who they are.
Mm-hmm.
But also I would get distracted sometimes because I would be like, oh, that one's cute.
Yeah. There's
Excuse
a
me?
lot of
It's
like
true.
moving parts and positions, and so that does get confusing sometimes where like, or sometimes it'll be like two guys with dark hair that wear glasses. It's like, wait, which one is that, because
That's
they
right.
show the
Mhm.
different parts of the teams and everything that are in
Well,
charge
plus
of
I was
different
trying to figure out, I'm
portions.
like, is she working with any of her friends from high school?
No.
Yeah.
Well, not yet.
Because I
Not
thought
yet.
they were,
Spoilers.
like, part of the
Not
thing was, like, they wanted to work together and make it
Yep.
anime together.
I
I'm
like-
gonna get emotional. I can't spoil it.
I like
Okay.
I like the reality of like having a dream and then like working at your dream, and like how it's not as
Soul crushing.
like fun as you want it
Yeah.
to be.
It's exhausting.
They're like, we're gonna follow our
dream.
dream.
2.5 years later, she's just
It's just
sitting
sitting in the
exhausted
car.
at the stoplight.
at the
Yeah.
stoplight when nobody else is there, and it's like that feeling of like, why am I at this stoplight? Nobody's here. I should just go.
Right. Well, and I think too, like, Will had a good point of like why I find this show so relatable is like as an assistant, there's so many things that go wrong behind the scenes that people will never know about because you
Mhm.
just get stuff done. Like you just have to plow through it and just problem solve and figure stuff out. Like I have so many stories of things going wrong where I had to just like fix it. Like I didn't even have time to panic. I just had to figure it out and like, okay, you go do this, okay, you do that, okay, you take care of this, okay, team go, because you're just trying to get stuff done. And I like thrive in that kind of environment. I really enjoy that, and the whole show is like that. Like
Yeah.
it's just super fun, like trying to get the anime out and stuff. And you also don't realize too, like I didn't realize till I watched this how like long it takes them to make an anime, but how like behind they are. Like I always thought, oh, you have a show
Yeah, I thought
entirely
they
done.
that
Yeah.
was really interesting.
Before it
Oh,
comes
they're
out.
like, the show
I thought
that's
they
coming
had
out
it
next
all
week.
Yeah.
done.
And they actually
But like
don't.
no, they're like working on all like at least 4 or 5 episodes
Yep.
at a time
Right.
together.
Yeah.
Like that was pretty
Well, and if
interesting.
you think about like there's like the several anime studios out there, and there's 70 anime that come out every single season. That's a lot of anime
yeah.
that people have to make, and you might have multiple animes going on at once, like in your studio and stuff. And so
That sounds like a nightmare.
yeah, it's really that's why they get so overworked and stuff. And
Yeah.
it's crazy.
Well, that seems crazy that they would. I mean, actually, I don't know how it works here. Like, do they finish?
Sometimes
shows
they
They're
don't.
not.
Before they
They're
put
not
them
usually
out?
done with shows. Usually, they're like close to halfway done with like filming and
It
stuff
seems
before a
like
show
you
comes.
would do
But they got
So
posts and
half
stuff.
of it
yeah.
before you
Some shows will get
premiered it.
canceled
Right.
Would
mid-season.
seem
Yep.
to be
Mhm.
make more sense.
Well, there's
in work.
like the Netflix shows that you binge, like obviously those are all done before they get put out. Like The
Well,
Witcher
yeah.
came out as one. But the thing that happens with that is then if they're all the way done with a show before, like you get no kind of like fan, like you can't alter things at all to like go along with like the fans like everything. You can't take feedback and be like, oh, fans really like this character or they don't. And that's why like think about season 1 of, let's say, Stranger Things, for example. Originally they were going to kill Steve, right? And imagine how season 2 of Stranger Things would not have been as good if Steve was
There wouldn't
dead.
have been a Babysitter's
Yeah,
Club.
and so like season 2 Steve is my favorite character in Stranger Things easily. And
That's fair.
but like if they would have just been, but they liked the kid and so that's why they didn't kill him. But like imagine like if they would have just been like, just go with.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean that's a bad example because this Netflix does drop them all at once, but like the kind of feedback where it's like you don't just stick with the plan sometimes.
Right.
Like,
Well, and the thing
Steve
too is
Urkel,
like
right?
in SHIROBAKO, the director of the studio says like, cheers to like the first contract we've had with this person in like 7 years. So imagine too, sometimes studios will like, oh, you guys got this contract. Oh, by the way, like the next episode needs to come out in a month or whatever. It's like it's slated to air at this time and stuff. And there's this is kind of a, I don't know, it's not really a spoiler. There is one episode where like they get the tape of the anime to the studio like 5 minutes before it airs, and it shows them like handing it in, and then the guy like throwing it in there, and then them airing it. It's like, oh my gosh, that's so crazy and stressful.
Yeah,
but,
that sounds really
it definitely makes you appreciate anime too, and you don't think about all the layers of anime too. Like you have the writer, the frames, the actual animation, the coloring, the voice acting, the dub, because they like talk about that in the first episode. Oh, well, it's slated to dub at this time. And now anime companies are getting faster too, where like they'll air the sub and the dub at the same time, which is like unheard of. Like 5 years ago, that was not a thing. You had to wait like a year or two for the dub to come out, but now they'll do it like
together.
Boom, boom, boom. Like, oh, cool, the sub and the dub are out. That's awesome. So
yeah,
it's a good time to be alive, man. Get sub and a dub at the same time.
Yeah, I definitely would binge it for that, just to learn all that stuff too, because it's like, I don't know, like that one anime that I like a lot, Monthly Girls, like that's all about like how mangas are made, and it's like, I didn't know before that, or, well, I guess I learned some of that from the webtoons I read and stuff, like how there's like a separate colorist and a separate line person and a separate like writer and stuff. It's like all that's it's crazy how many people work on these things when you just think that it's just like one writer or like illustrator
and then if like one person messes up or doesn't hit their deadline, it like screws up everyone else. There's this one episode of SHIROBAKO where like the writer's behind, and it's the bigger guy with the glasses, and because he's like the director of the show, not necessarily the studio. He like is so stuck at this one point, and he's such a perfectionist, and he's trying to make it perfect, and he's struggling. The guy who's doing the shrugging thing that Seth liked.
He's funny.
He's just like having this huge anxiety attack in front of everybody.
Right before they watch the show, the premiere, they literally lock him in a cage. And they have fried chicken outside the cage.
Oh my gosh, spoiler.
And they're like, you are not allowed to eat this chicken. And that's like his weakness until you write this scene, because it's like one of the big climax of the show or something. And he's like, you cannot leave. And the
that part was funny when he's just like messing his belly. It's like, I guess I could eat something.
Yeah.
Like,
so it's
being
like,
all sad. I'm like, I understand that. So.
Well, it's like that part is so relatable for artists, because you have times where it's like you have to hit a deadline, you have to work. Yes, you should.
I feel like
get your books written.
Should stop playing Apex Legends.
Go off too.
Didn't Josh do something like that with you, where he's like,
at one point when I was finishing my first book, Josh was really good about helping me meet my deadlines. He wouldn't play games with me, and would encourage me to. It was Overwatch back then, I think, but he would encourage me to write instead, and he'd like make sure I met before I got on to play. Like,
he'd
made
be like,
my
"Did you get your words, your
stuff.
word count in and stuff?"
He's
That's
better.
A good friend.
Josh is a better friend than me.
He's a real one.
I try to do stuff like that with him. It doesn't work. He doesn't listen to me.
I listen to you all the time.
No, you don't.
Kayla, who was your favorite person in this first episode?
It's okay if it's the cute blonde boy. He's funny and cute.
Cute blonde
with
boy.
the faux hawk.
Which one?
Oh, he was my favorite character. Hands down.
He's so. I love him. He's so fun.
He was kind of crazy.
Please.
I know, and then she's like, "Please don't make me work with him. He irritates me."
I find his something irritating.
His voice irritates
his habits are something super.
Yeah, I don't know.
That's okay.
Probably just the main girl so far.
Did you?
Aoi?
Aoi.
It's like Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, but different.
Yep.
Did you say if you're gonna binge Travail, Kayla? I didn't hear a definitive. I couldn't.
I've said it a couple of times.
She said
I would binge it.
Binge, but rewatch the first episode.
That's right. That's
I need
right.
to rewatch the first one because it did go very fast, and I definitely am an annoying person where I want to read all the words, which is why I always have captioning on, even for the England.
Gotta put it in England.
No, even for, because I can be hard of hearing sometimes, but I also just like don't want to miss anything, and I'm just like, yeah, I can get confused easily.
You're nicer than me. I just asked William what they say. Wait, what did he say? What did he do?
Yeah, it depends.
Then sometimes William's like, I don't know, and we just keep watching.
That's always the right answer. That's what I learned in college. It's always okay to say you don't know.
I generally just give a recap of what's happening in the overall plot, not the exact dialogue.
I mean,
Well, then I get
sometimes
mad.
if
I'm
I'm
like,
not
I know
super,
that.
if I'm not super invested, then I'll do that. But
Yeah.
other times I'll just rewind it or something.
But then sometimes you find out about people's names are different than you thought they were. Well, we were watching some show yesterday or movie, and you're like, that's the person's name? This is going to be a stupid thing to say.
Well, we argued about like Baby Yoda's name. I was like, isn't
Grogu?
it?
Like how to say Grogu?
No, that wasn't what we were arguing about the other day. There was something. But it doesn't matter. But I was right. That's all that matters.
Yeah, he like rewound it. I was like, what the?
And then she didn't want to say anything about it. We watched it, saw that I was right, and then she just didn't say anything.
Classic.
That's again, if people don't want to say anything, that's how I know I'm right.
Oh, it was just because there was like a difference in like if he said she or her or something like that.
Yes, it was something
the
small.
one, yeah.
But like it's just like when we've been hanging out with Tim all the time. If Tim would say Seth, Kayla's right about this, then we would know Kayla was right. But then if he would always, this is my favorite. But then if he would say, I'm going to stay out of this, that would mean I was right.
Oh my gosh.
And it became so evident that that's what was happening.
Well, that's also why I like Josh, because Josh will be like, no, William, you should side with Lauren on this one. Or he's like, I'm siding with Lauren on this one.
Oh, no,
She's
Tim,
right.
Tim would say that, but it's when
Yeah.
he should side with me because I was right that he would just back out.
That's the difference. Josh will
Josh
go
is a
against
coward.
you. No,
Yeah,
Josh
he'll
isn't
be
a
like,
coward.
Josh will be
That's
like,
true.
no, William's right.
Yeah.
And I'll be like, oh, okay. Josh is smart. He's
Well, let's
William's
not get
right
too
then.
crazy.
Tim, on the other hand, just kidding.
He's pretty smart.
He's smart to stay out of it. How about that?
Smart.
Yeah, what is he?
But
He's a smart butt. Oh!
Chicken butt.
I'm
Okay,
gonna-
William,
Yeah, go
you
William.
bailing or you binging? What's up, homie?
well, I don't know. It's a good slice of life treatment. I like how they, I don't know, it starts out and you can tell like, oh, it's just gonna be like some down to earth, show, like kind of basic, like real life.
Basic.
Wholesome.
But then
Wholesome, I don't know about that.
Well, see, at the beginning, you're like, wow, they're in a club.
Well,
How cute.
what I was getting at is like, it just feels like it's gonna be like kind of feel really grounded, but then it's just like it's actually pretty funny.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's a lot of
that-
like comedic
mhm.
moments in it.
Yep.
And it's like stuff that like I was legitimately laughing at, like not just like awkward laughing, like what the heck, but
Right.
like oh man, that's actually funny.
Mhm.
Like the car stuff at the beginning.
Yeah,
Right.
like they have like a car chase, and it's like stuff that's just like half the reason why it's funny is because it just doesn't really fit.
Mm-hmm.
But that's what they're going for. It's not like they shoehorned it in a way where it was just like it just didn't make sense.
People that
but,
like racing would really like this.
yeah, but it was like, oh, this is the joke, like
Yeah.
that they're doing. So I don't know. I like that, and it's short.
Yep.
It's good.
Oh man, yeah. I was like, it's over.
Yep.
It goes by pretty quick, and
Donnie.
it's heartwarming story of workspace type stuff together, and so I would say that I would binge it. I mean, I've seen most of it already, obviously, but
Yeah, I was gonna say, have you watched all of it? Or
yeah,
you
I think
just
I have
some
seen
of it?
most of it. If I were to like go through and rewatch it, I'd probably be like, oh, I remember this episode. I remember this.
Mm-hmm.
'Cause I remember that, like, this first episode where they were missing the keyframes. Like, I remembered that.
It's like when you've seen a movie on TV a bunch, you're like, I'm pretty sure I've seen the whole thing,
Yeah.
but maybe not
Right.
in
Not
order or
succession,
whatever.
yeah.
Right. And so, but yeah, I would binging, and it's a good show with fun characters. It's definitely a character show first, obviously, which is good. And yeah, it shows all that stuff that's cool about learning about animation, but I think that it's really one thing that that resonates with me with it is I just like that it's about like people that are doing the dirty work to achieve their dreams.
Right.
And they recognize as the story goes on that, you know, achieving what they want to achieve doesn't look like what they thought it would look like, but it still is their dream, and they still are willing to put in the work to get to where they want to get to. And it's just a nice, inspiring, wholesome show like that. So it's fun to take a break sometimes from violent stuff like Attack on Titan and watch stuff more like Shirobako.
Right.
So I would do the binge on this one.
Yeah, I like that's realistic. Like, your hard work will pay off, but you have to work your butt off.
And it doesn't always work how you think it's going to.
And sometimes it works out even better than you expected it to.
Yep.
You know, this store might shut, but you might have this opportunity instead.
Yep.
And it's going to be even better and stuff.
Right.
So, yeah. Totally. Seth, you binging or bailing?
Oh, this is the easiest binge out of all of them.
What?
It's my favorite show that we watched.
I did not
That's
Wait, are you
top
being
five.
sarcastic?
Nope.
I
This
did
is my
not see
favorite
that
one.
coming.
I wish that it was a dub, and I might seek that out even. But
I think there is somewhere out there.
But-
There is.
but yeah, this show is great. Even though it's in another language that I know I'm not catching everything, and I'm having to read it. There's still parts where I was chuckling at it and laughing at it, and the characters seem pretty fun, and I like that the stupid guy, the blonde stupid guy, was making me laugh every time he was saying anything. Yeah, no, I just really liked it. I was just listening to you guys describe it, and it wasn't until we got to Wayman and somebody was like, "It's just really funny," and I was like, "Yeah, that's why I was into it like that." It was like, but everything you guys said sits good with me. But yeah, easily out of, I think, because let's see, the Attack on Titan, Violet Evergarden.
Rank them.
Violet was your favorite before.
Violet was my favorite before, and I probably would keep it. So I think I'd go. Number 5 would be Soul Eater. Then and then.
Is this even in the ranking?
I mean, you have to put it in the ranking.
Oh,
It's a top
gosh.
5, so you gotta.
The savagery.
I only have 5, so I mean, if I could turn it into a top 4, maybe we'd do that instead. But I'm being too mean to it. I'm sure that it gets better than the first episode.
It's
But
wonderful. It's so good.
but I'd go. I put it last. I put it number 5. Before, probably the volleyball one,
Haikyuu.
Haikyuu, and then Attack on Titan. Maybe I would switch those two. It depends. And then Violet Evergarden, and then this one number 1.
Yeah.
I'm happy to surprise everybody on that. But yeah, it legitimately, I almost was like, can we just watch the second one, guys?
Really?
I almost was like, let's just watch it.
So happy.
So I really did like this one a lot. And I just think that out of all of them, I like things that it's easy to recommend to everybody.
Yeah.
I like Paddington too, because 100% of Rotten Tomatoes, there's not a single person that's reviewed it that's it's not good.
Right.
I'm not saying it's their favorite thing ever, but you can recommend Paddington 2 to everybody.
Mm-hmm.
And anybody who's I don't like Paddington 2, I'm like, I don't know if I want to be friends with that
you're
person.
like, what's
It's
wrong with you?
why?
Yeah.
Why do you not like this?
Yeah.
Whereas this show is I mean, there's more reasons why someone might not like it
Sure.
than Paddington 2. But at the same point, out of all the shows that we've watched, these ones I feel I mean, Haikyuu you could recommend that to pretty much anybody too.
Yeah, it's a
I don't
Yeah.
dislike that. Really, out of all of the shows, I mean, I think out of all of them, the only one that got a hard bail from me was Soul Eater. I think I might have bailed on Haikyuu, but that was just because of the logistics of it. I can't remember.
No, you didn't bail on Haikyuu. You
switched.
post bailed on Attack.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. If I had to have a concrete rating, I'd put Attack on Titan number 4. Then and I would stand by that.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I liked this one a lot. I thought the music was fun in it. I really like stories where it's they're using the medium to talk about the medium that they're in.
Right.
So I like movies that are about making movies, and I like TV shows about making TV shows. I like 30 Rock a lot because it's a TV show about
Right.
making a TV show and how crazy it is, and of course that's surreal and everything and everything and crazy and but I'm trying to think Galaxy Quest or even if it's not the same medium, so Galaxy Quest comments on making a TV show and different things like that.
Right.
Movies like Ed Wood and whatever, and so but yeah, I just like that kind of thing where like you can appreciate it for what it is, but at the same time knowing about the stuff it talks about, like, is like fun also. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, no. Comics about comics is good. Like that making comics comic book.
It's so
is
meta.
good. It's a good one. I recommend that book from the library. I would always point it out to people.
Yeah.
Anyway. Yeah.
Cool.
Right on.
Yay.
Cool. Well, we've officially finished up Lorna's top 5. We just did Lorna's top 5 anime, not necessarily top 5 shows, and we'll probably grab some of those other shows as time goes on. But before we jump into anybody else's top 5 shows, which I think is what we were planning on doing at some point, we're kind of up in the air and whatever exactly what's going to happen. But we did want to do a little bit of a palate cleanser, and I did put out a thing on Instagram just asking what people's like favorite TV shows were, and I got a surprising amount of responses from that, like a very surprising amount of responses. And so we're actually what
Finish what you're gonna say first, I guess.
wait, what do you say?
Well, I'm just so you said what's your favorite?
That was what I said in the thing.
Because I'm surprised that Stetson.
I am also
said
surprised that
MASH
Stetson
instead
said
of
MASH.
The Office.
What?
Yes, that was the question I asked. The question I asked on Instagram was, "What's your favorite TV show?" And people posted things, and I kept the list, and I kept who sent it in, and Stetson did say MASH, and he was the first person to send one, and so William and we talked about it, and I mean, I guess you guys were there too, but you guys were having a side conversation when William and I kind of took a conversation and made the decision. Next week we're going to talk about MASH, and MASH is easily available. You can watch it on Hulu. And I'm excited to talk about a show that's got like such a long, like it's got like 11 seasons, I think, on MASH.
I also feel like it's kind of like, what do you call it? Not a cultural icon.
Like it was a
cult
cultural
following.
yeah.
It has like a cult following.
Well, I think it was a cultural
like
phenomenon.
Yeah.
Like when it came out, like but for a long time.
Like
was
the
a
last
big deal.
episode of MASH was like the most viewed television for a while.
Oh my gosh.
But I'm excited.
He's just sobbing.
I'm excited to talk about it. I mean, I've seen some episodes of MASH, and but I haven't. You haven't seen any of it? Okay, well,
Oh
I'm
my
excited.
Well, that's perfect.
Yep, it's a good switch then because
My dad talks about it, and my mom.
Yeah,
I don't know,
it's a TV show about a war that went on longer than the war it was based on. So, well, that's good, I guess.
I mean,
Mash it up.
yeah, that is good.
It'd be better if the war didn't have to happen at all. But anyway,
Didn't have to.
so
Anyway,
so MASH next week. So if you want to watch with us, yeah,
Watch SHIROBAKO.
watch SHIROBAKO too. Yeah,
Woo.
Verve.
VRV.
Download Verve on whatever you need to watch
Get a
it.
free.
Get a free trial. Binge watch it. I don't know how long was the trial for, Lorna? A week.
7 days.
We'll get on it then, right?
Chop chop.
Could do that. It's holiday break.
Yeah, there you go.
Chop.
I mean, not for any of us, but
I'm
Holiday break for me.
I'm excited
That's
to
true.
see like what other shows we will be reviewing.
Yeah.
Like, I love anime. Anime is my favorite thing. Not ever, but like I love anime. I always want to spread the good word of anime.
well, we'll review
But-
one more anime at least. I promise you.
Oh,
that.
I'm sure. Oh, I'll make sure of that.
Oh,
There's
and I'm
one on my list.
I have to figure out my favorite K-dramas.
K-dramas. That one will be fun.
that's a
I'm
list
excited
that
for
I'm not.
Because
That's a
that's
5
what
weeks.
everybody should be watching. Should all be watching Korean dramas.
That's a 5 weeks.
well,
I'm not
actually,
looking forward to.
dramedies.
Whatever.
I like
Those episodes are
dramedies.
so
Yeah.
long.
Yes. Dramedies, I like that.
Each episode of a K-drama is like an
Docudramas.
hour and a half.
I'm aware.
Yeah. I was
Not
watching.
always. Not always.
Seems like it.
I'm watching that one.
They do draw them
Soldier.
out though.
I forgot what it's called. Flying into you, or
Yeah.
crash landing into you.
I haven't watched that one yet, so
It's so good.
I need to.
Dude, I
I
was
need to.
I was looking at
I
get-
IMDb's.
I trail away from the dramas sometimes because they can be a lot.
Oh,
Yeah, no, this one's good. It's not too dramatic, and that's why each episode legit feels like a movie.
She gets
Yeah,
caught in a
like-
I do
tornado.
like
though.
it.
like Wizard of Oz.
I do.
She's like
Well, the thing with them
paragliding,
being so long.
and she gets caught in a tornado, and then she wakes up in a tree in North Korea.
All right. Well, there's worse. I mean, no, that might be about the worst place to wake up.
Yeah, but I was looking at IMDb's top 100 rated. Was it movies and shows? I think it was movies and shows.
There was just like
There's-
like the top rated stuff.
And Crash Landing Into You was like number 74 or something like that.
That was
It
probably
made it
those
on
TV
there.
shows.
It was like the only
Because they have a
K
separate
drama I
list for
saw.
movies and TV shows.
probably.
Oh,
TV
okay,
shows
yeah.
then.
Top rated 100
Top
shows.
100 shows, yeah. That's
That's cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll have to watch it.
A lot of my shows are on there.
It's good
I mean,
stuff.
sometimes you wish a movie had more stuff to it.
Yep.
Went on for longer. So sometimes that's just what happens with the K-dramas.
Yeah,
and
it's
stuff.
nice.
You're just
You
getting
get
to watch several
more.
movies.
When Kayla gets into the K-dramas, I like always know that inevitably there will be the day I come home and she's just crying. And I'm just like, is it the part where the evil mom made it so that they couldn't be together?
Oh,
and she's
no.
like, yes. And then I'm like, but like, it's not the end, right? There's still 2 episodes left. She's like, yes. I'm like, okay, well, it'll be all right.
It's not even like that.
It's
It's
exactly like that.
addictive
But we like the
cycle.
formula. Hey, I like formulas
It's
too.
an addictive cycle, I guess.
Great.
It just seems to be the ones that go for it, but
All right.
there's a lot. There's more than that.
That's
Screw
great.
you,
And
evil
we'll
moms.
and we'll talk about it when we get to it, but it's getting late. William needs to go to bed because he's got to work tomorrow. So because of that, we're going to be signing off again. I was Seth, and Kayla was here, and William was here, and Lauren was here. And thank you.
And
Bugsby is asleep on the couch. He's a dog. And
Or
so
Shih Tzu.
He's a
thank
dog.
you so much for listening in.
Close said Chi-Chu the other day. It made me so happy.
Have fun watching TV.